All right, welcome back to Piss Pirates. We're not Piss Pirates. We're not doing an actual podcast. Sorry. Welcome back to the Fishman Island Log comparison stream. We're on episode 12. It's about the halfway point. They're saying 21 episodes, and I still don't quite believe them. I mean, let's look at this. Let's look at these stats right here. Episode 12 here. They're gonna do. Well, I actually don't have the next episode preview isolated yet. Let me rectify that. Get it going. Let's see. Let me get that so we can peruse it. I have not done this exact perusing myself yet, but that's what this stream is for. But I did a lot of work. I do a lot of stuff outside of it, so okay. But we're looking here. 11, they did 3 chapters, like definitely, like the vast majority of 3. Like 618, they kind of split a little, like 2 or 3 pages from the previous episode. You can see there, 618, they covered up to kind of 3, but 11 is definitely 3 chapters. So this one we'll see, but let's just check out the panels here. This is everything they cut from episode 11. It's a lot. It's a lot. if you tally it all together, like per episode, which I should probably do. I'm doing it like per chapter, but I should do like from each of these episodes the amount of stuff that gets cut every time. But there's a lot that they really plow through in this episode just to get to the flashback. And honestly, I think all of it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Because at the end of 619, you have Jinbei being like, "I'm the guy who set Arlong loose," and then 20 ends up being a lot of like tying up the because we're about to lock into the flashback for the next however many chapters, however many episodes. So Oda wants to get all his ducks in a row in this last chapter before Jinbei starts going. So it's a lot of stuff that's very easy to kind of streamline. So you have this entire page that got cut out, which is pretty much fine. But I have to look at the ramifications, or like maybe they'll put this scene in somewhere later. But let's look at 618. They got 17 bubbles, 14 panels, and no particular shots or anything. I wish I could just kind of grab it or whatever, but it's okay. Panel here, it's a lot. There's so much in this scene of like Luffy getting tied up, of the villagers talking, and it's very burdensome. They cut out a lot there. They got this entire bit of Luffy conquerors hockeying them because they try to get in his way of stopping the fucking axe from hitting Shirahoshi, and he's like, nope, get out of my way. Totally fair. Honestly, it flows perfectly in Log, in my opinion. Entire panels of them talking get cut. Hello, Weird Proc. Thank you for coming. It will worry purchase. We'll behead these criminals. Yeah, it's like so much of that, and they're faceless people. They're not characters, you know. And so I really the more this is happening, it's like I really appreciate that they are like decongesting how kind of big this arc feels by mostly removing all the faceless characters. As much as Oda puts, effort into designing each of them, right? And like having to draw them. And the anime does the same thing. The anime is more than not just cutting anything. They're adding stuff. But yeah, like the little bits like added details and stuff to really fill in these panels, So he doesn't have to draw as much. Maybe that's the idea behind it there. Like he only has to is this twice? This is weird. Look at this. This is like 2 similar. I didn't even notice this. This is like in the same chapter. These are 2 fairly big panels with 4 bubbles in each of them, and they cut 2 of them in each one. Gosh. Hello, Otis. Good to see you. That's really interesting. And he has to draw each of those assistants, probably. It's fine. He beat Vanderdecken. Like you don't need that. Like, yeah, we see it. It's the giant. Look, I crushed the. And they make a big deal out of it, and the anime makes a big deal out of it too, of Watatsumi showing up. But the fact that Luffy folds him in 2 pages like, yeah, obviously it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, very ultimately pretty smart choices here. Uh, totally, totally sensible. 19, they had a similar number of speech bubbles, exact same number of panels too, and no shots. It definitely didn't copy that. That is the same number. That's spooky. It's a lot of side characters, background characters, the army guys, enough to like for it to work. More Brooke gets cut. It's a consistent pattern with this whole thing with Brooke. At the end of when the group gets captured, where's the panel? Right here, where they're like, obviously it doesn't matter if Brooke has a air bubble. He's still a devil fruit user. But they make a big deal of like, hey, whose skeleton is this? Because they don't realize he's a character. He's living. But then a lot of Hodie's goons and the soldiers, that whole bit, because it's like a failed, obviously like, Hodie manages to still capture Neptune and the others. You don't need to dwell on it as much, in my opinion. And then the second half of this chapter is like, Jinbei reuniting with Luffy and then Nami and the group meeting him as well. And there's actually a lot of Sanji and Frankie bits to try to, like, Chopper gets next to nothing, to be honest. And they cut a lot of Sanji and Frankie, which is fine. It's all like, it's just Sanji, and Chopper's only thing in this scene is reacting to Sanji being better. Like, wow, he's cured of his illness or whatever. Kami pretty much gets completely cut because she's not saying anything that is really needed for the interaction, for this scene to happen. Because again, they're trying to get to the flashback starting episode 12. So they're trying to fit in 3 chapters. It's a lot of material. So like the most notable cut that they do in this episode that people on Twitter are obviously very disappointed by is this interaction with Frankie and Luffy where Frankie Luffy sees Den on the ship and he's like, what the fuck are you doing there? He's like some guy. And Frankie's like, he's the guy coding our ship. And Luffy makes this joke, not really a joke, it's funny. Oh, so he's the teacher who's coding your little brother. Yeah, something like that. And that's a funny interaction in the manga. In the anime, they pause for 3 seconds to let that joke sit for Luffy to say that really dumb thing, and Frankie's just staring at him dumbfounded. And then they can be like, "Yep, yeah, that's it." Like, that's funny. One Piece, obviously, and I talked about this in the previous. I said that they would cut this completely, and they did. Which I would prefer that they cut it completely than to butcher the joke. To like do what fucking One Piece did and be like, oh, it's no fucking music. I can truncate it, get every last second to make it as short as possible, even though they can't really do much without separated music and effects track. Again, more Sanji. This entire panel got cut because again, it's him, showing that he's his usual self. Like, that's his normal reaction to women, whatever. That's and again, more Sanji. And honestly, I think it really works for the scene because, Sanji gets his big moment with Shirahoshi, turns to stone, and then and then the next big thing that you need him for is him being like really serious when it comes to Nami and what she went through with Arlong and explaining that to Jinbei. And that's a really cool moment. So I actually like that all of his shenanigans and like being silly are cut. Like this part here, this entire panel got cut. He's like, have some tea. And she's like, thanks, just put it there. We're talking serious stuff now, so straighten up. Right? Like, the tone is kept consistent, I think, in Log. And I honestly think that's a very smart... Again, given what they have to do here, I would prefer that they don't cut any of this. But their challenge of getting from this point to this point in a very strict amount of time, and they have to put the eye catch in it and everything like that. With what they have to do, they're making very, very smart choices, I think. Thanks to whoever else is pressing 100. I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe I don't know. Sorry. And then 620, the bubbles, panels, an entire page. This whole page, which again, it's just more Fishmen talking with each other and kind of like playing catch up, where the audience already knows all this, is way ahead of them, because that's how Oda does it. We live in like they don't need any of this, right? But a notable cut is Caribou finding out about Shirahoshi. Now the thing is, I don't know if that amounts to something. I don't remember. I've not read through all of Fishman Island for this. I should, but I haven't. I saw that gigantic mermaid. A human-sized mermaid fetches for millions. Like, it's just what he's been doing already. Just thinking about the price she gives me goosebumps. So it's like, how necessary was it for Oda to plant the seed now when he's about to go into a flashback for 6 chapters? Honestly, I don't think very much. I think this was a perfectly fair cut. And then they decompressed the flashback significantly, but they didn't cut as much as I thought they would. I thought they might cut it completely, but they did keep like the vibes, and honestly the way that they abbreviated and the things that they chose to keep were really smart. Honestly, I think the way they did this was excellent. As much as all of this is great and worth keeping, and again, it's in the original. Yeah. And another interesting cut is actually like further embellishment of Jinbei talking about our true status on Sabaody. It's almost ironic. This is a really great line. It's almost ironic. Those with the greatest power fear the most. Fear change the most. Like, that's a really like profound, kind of cool line. But they cut it because it's not progressing the plot forward in a necessary way, and it is a way they can cut it. And it may have also been, I haven't really done a very close analysis, and this is something I want to do. I do want to take all of these panels that are cut and apply them to the timeline on Premiere, and so like you can see which shots that they cut, that you can see that they were cut in Fishman Log, and put the corresponding panel in there, so you can see whether this shot was quote unquote manga canon, or was it anime original, something they added for padding or whatever, even if down to lines or whatever. I think that would help for clarity too, because ultimately I want to try to, like, I don't know, find a way to export this or make this shareable for people to explore for themselves. The 100 button on the emote reaction button. That's fair. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Oh, and then this other panel was completely cut as well, which is interesting. The core of the government decided to join hands with the Fishmen, but under the surface, the roots of their racism still run deep. I get it, pretty profound. And that's not cutting anything like vital, because Hachi literally already said that. He literally goes over the entire history, and not the entire, like, he summarizes it, and then Jinbei kind of hops in and gives a little bit of analysis. But that analysis isn't as necessary as the way Hachi explains it and lays it all out, really. Like this little extra bit, like we went way too far. They cut just that part. But obviously they keep all the rest of this. This reaction from, I don't know, Sanji or whoever. Oh, it's Sanji. Is that all you have to say? Because, like, you've endured a great deal. I like how blunt Jinbei is. But they cut that reaction. But that's all. Again, it keeps the tone in the right place, I think. More Sanji shenanigans, etc. And then, so that's kind of the extent of it. Oh, and just this speech bubble from this guy's scene. And then it's not that the octopus guy, I forgot his name, got completely cut. It's just they simplified it down to one panel of him, like, doing the slash. It's cool. So that's the extent of what was cut in the previous episode. And now we're pissing. I've not updated these things yet. Hold on. So today we're doing 540. We're looking at actually no, hold on. What are we looking at? Oh no, we are. Yeah. I was just having those things open. Hold on. So we're covering 540 and probably 541. Because let's look at this next episode preview here. And then the chapters, sorry. Chapters are probably 621 to 622. I think they're going to do 2 chapters this episode. So what do we got? We have Otohime's introduction. That's all in the same first couple pages. Shirahoshi being born. This shot is pretty important because this happens at the end of episode 541 when they're encountering Koala. Right here. There it is. So they have that shot. So they're getting to this moment at the end of 541. You know, introduction to Fisher Tiger, starting the Sun Pirates. I'm leaving. Kind of introducing both of them. There's Koala again, so they are doing Koala, but I don't think there's any shots in here. I don't think that are implying that they'll go further than that. So because here's 542, well 543, because episode 542 is a Toriko crossover, so it goes from 541 to 543. The Usopp Pirates, yeah. So here's 543. Ooh, this is where I left off on One Piece from the Toonami broadcast. Oh, really? Good to see you, Asuib. So there's this shot. I don't think it's... yeah, it's not that one. Unless they redraw it completely, which is very rare that they do a complete redraw. But yeah, I would think that's a great place to end it because it gives you the full first introduction to both Otohime and Fisher Tiger, and it ends on a really great emotional note. But then you have 543 and 544. 543 is end of Fisher Tiger. Like Fisher Tiger passes away after that episode. And honestly, like if they did those 3, that would be great. But I don't quite see that happening. And the next episode preview, I don't think shows anything from that. Because by that point, like you have Koala kind of nice and everything. There might be a Otohime shot that they include in this next episode preview from there, but I don't think so. But then, yeah, if it was these 2 chapters, for episodes 543 and 544, it would end because, like, you know, Fisher Tiger passes away at the end of this episode, which would be the next episode preview of episode 13, hypothetically. So that would be like the next episode, like the halfway point of the episode, and then the end of the episode would be the end of the Sun Pirates when they basically dissolve, they break up, with Arlong taking some and so on. And I think that would be a nice holistic episode. And then in 546, 545 and 546, which is Otohime leaving for the Celestial Draft to make the deal, and that could be the halfway point of the episode. And then the next episode is her death, which is the end of the flashback, I believe. Because then, yeah, 547. No, I think, let's see. Sorry. There's a little bit more. There's like an aftermath of the flashback. There's a resolution to the flashback. Yeah, this is all resolution of like really. Yeah, so that's like the end of it, and then the halfway point, and then there's obviously Nami forgiving him. And then the official end of the flashback is Hody's broadcast, and I think that could be a good halfway point, so they can do 547, 548. We're really projecting pretty far down the line now, like a couple weeks, because then this episode is him like, I have your guys is captured. It's a lot of fluff probably with villagers and shit. I've not gotten a close look at it yet. Fisher Tiger the goat, yeah. And then yeah, it has this ending of Luffy and Jinbei thinking to fight. Yeah, and I don't want to speculate too much further there. Anyway, so let's look at what this existing these 2 episodes that we're about to see, 540 and 541. Let's see what they do here. Let's pull up the timeline. And let's make this a little like so. Yeah. All right. So stay. So 540, what they're going to adapt this episode, it has a 46-second introduction of, setting some mood. You see in the bottom here, there's not much dialogue. But he's just like, yeah, it started 16 years ago, giving a little background detail, but One Piece cuts this, so I'm assuming that it's not really in the manga. But it's not really, because you can see the manga here. The chapter starts with the flashback just immediately. So that's what One Piece pretty much imitates. You can see One Piece in the corner here, right over here. Oh, sorry, get the timeline back. So they they don't cut a whole lot. You see, this whole timeline, they don't do a lot of cuts. So this entire sequence, they don't touch at all. And then they do some of these chunks here. Because again, you see at the bottom here, there's no music at all. So they can cut all the dramatic tension out. Because, they can. Because they can make it quick. So like the guy that she's talking to, has a little reaction, and there's like a dramatic pause, and so they cut that part out with the actual dialogue, and then everyone's reacting, everyone's really quiet, and you keep that part because it's plot relevant. And then she's a little bit of because you see in the manga here, they're doing the whole thing, and so she's yelling, the guy talks, she raises her hand to slap him. You can see raises her hand to slap him, and then the page turn, you see her crying, and she's like, oh, what the heck, right? So they're trying to recreate that effectively in One Piece, but it's kind of I like this a lot, actually. You still have the but this is something they might decompress, because I'll go over it. The previous episode, I've almost done it. This is all sorry, it's very wonky. This is actually the remaster. This is everything the remaster covers. They've truncated this entire episode into that. Like half the length. Like less than half the length. It's crazy. And you can see how much One Piece keeps. It's like all of that at the top here. It's a lot. And they've truncated a lot. And same thing here, where we can go over all the shots and ways that they've truncated it. Same thing here. It's not as bad because they took the first 4-ish minutes from the previous episode. So then all of this, and then all of this, and then all of this is episode 11. It's a lot. They covered a shit ton of ground. And some people thought it was felt rushed. I did not. I actually thought it was really smooth, personally. Anyway, we're going. They don't touch literally anything for a long time. And then again, not much music to interrupt. So she shows, she's already showed that they've already walked away. And she's like, "Aw." But they just cut from here because people are already kind of leaving, and then they just cut right to that bit. So they just cut establishing shot here. But it's true, like literally, like Log will probably do an even more drastic thing. They'll probably like cut right here, maybe even add some dialogue, and then have it like already, or even could even just do this. You don't even need this establishing shot. Could just do that. I don't know. We'll see. Unfortunately, I've not really had the time or just been preferring to work on other things. To do what I did a couple weeks ago, where I speculate on trying to like, how are they going to cut it? And I think they'll cut it here and here. I think that would have been interesting, but I just don't have all the time to spend on this one, unfortunately. So at this point, it cuts to this anime original scene, and I don't know what they talk about, but I'm assuming it's anime original because One Piece doesn't have it, and if they can cut it, they will. So it's just this guy, and it's Jinbei, and I guess that's his introduction of like what he looks like. But then it goes to here, which One Piece does include. But what's odd is that I don't think at any point, I could be wrong about this, I don't think at any point the flashback cuts back to Jinbei talking. It stays in the flashback like the entire time. You can see here. They don't emerge, and that's what Oda does when it's a flashback time. You don't just go back to the present. Like when he's gone back to the present, you know the flashback is done. That's what he does. Sorry. Fishman Taiga. So, the multiple episodes, the way they're doing it is just their way of doing this flashback. I don't even think that's the same. I don't think that handling is the same throughout the anime either, where they do flashbacks. But I think Oda is pretty much consistent with the way he locks in with flashbacks. Anyway, so I'm trying to see. They're here. Da-dum-dum-dum. Talking about Noah, I guess. There's the signatures, yeah. And Shirahoshi. It's probably these two pages here. Yeah, so you see how he's like, what do you mean? I can't stop Otahime, so you must protect her. And then it cuts back to an Arlong thing. It's all of them. Shahaha. What does the piece of paper do? And he kind of introduced Arlong from here. So what the anime does, they have the thing, and then there's a scene with the pirates, and you show Jinbei, and then it's back to this conversation, which One Piece includes. And then there's this other scene as well. See, okay, so there's, so then the manga comes from here, actually. So it's very likely they cut all of this as well. Like this whole exchange. I'm not quite sure what they include here, but I'd love to go back and I definitely add subtitles just so like it's easy for people to see and read or whatever. But it's a different issue. This little bit, I guess, is original, so One Piece cut it, especially because they can. Sorry, this little chunk. How long is it? 5 seconds. More. Yeah, again, they can just kind of cut from here to here. I guess I thought that was a smart cut. Sure. Again, it's establishing shot. You have him there. I guess this establishing shot gets cut as well. I don't know why. Probably because there's nobody, like, up to this point, there's no mouths on screen, so you can technically put overlay dialogue over something that doesn't have, like, a mouth going. So you could probably do that. Maybe that's how they do it. Or maybe that this little dialogue bit is anime original. I don't know. Then I guess this whole bit gets cut as well. Other than that, it stays the same. And that's the end of the episode. There's not a lot of dramatic cuts in this episode. This next one is very interesting. Oh no, is it this one? It was this one. Oh man, I'll try to explain this one when if I have time. I'll definitely have time. That shit's nuts. But let's check this out. This is the next episode, 541. Starts again with title card and Jinbei, the events thus far. So it's my opinions and stuff, and Look at this. There's no dialogue, so it's just a mood thing of everyone's reaction. Huh. And then yeah, now it's Shiroshi. It's so cute. And then it goes from here. Doesn't cut anything. And then there's this little bit. This whole page is actually from I'm positive. I'm pretty sure it is. I think all of this is from a previous chapter from like 620. Yeah. So it goes from like here to here. Okay. This little chunk gets cut. Some just action, I guess. I guess they can go from here to here without much effort. Maybe fading in the music or something. I don't really know how they do the sound, really. I've not been scrutinizing that too much. Because I don't know where it would be. It's very easy to miss. You don't know what you don't know. But I could probably find it now that I have, like, now that it's laid out before me of, like, these are the cuts, you know? I could be like, what they do with the sound here? And I could just go to that time code, probably. Probably. Or that scene. So, yeah, like, mood... They can completely cut mood stuff, like establishing stuff. Like, this is nice vibes. This is like the, you know, while the story in the anime is not directly telling you anything, you have to realize as an audience member, the audience is absorbing and thinking about what they've seen. So, you know, given all of this and his decisions and his reactions and this whole interaction and everything, afterwards, you let the audience stew for that for a little bit. And this is a whole 40-second scene that they were able to cut. Again, because it's easy to cut with lack of any sound. So all this mood stuff, and this was, you know, makes it feel full. This is what makes it feel very fleshed out and weighty, and every chapter matters. You know, and it does. Every chapter does matter, and it gives it. The episodes give it that room, I think. Because his work, especially, you know, as it goes on with especially everything post time skip, is really dense. It's dense on purpose because he really wants to pack everything. He has so many ideas. He has so many jokes and whatever. So, you know, the anime's allowing that to happen, but you can't make the episode however long you want it to be, like One Piece. That's not how TV anime works. So they have, you know, sometimes you get a good moment like this that you can embellish, and this is nice, and other times it's ass. And like, no one complains about this shit, but they might complain about seeing townspeople run for 10 minutes. Like, sure, like, of course that's annoying. You know, sometimes they're good choices, and sometimes your hands are tied, and there's no good choice. It is what it is. Yeah, so for some reason, I don't know why, like, this fade is weird. Like, I don't understand why it fades orange here when, like, Luffy's whole dissolve is there. Why is this orange? And then it goes to regular. I don't get that. That's just a nitpick. It's just a small thing. Anyway, that little bit, whatever. And then, you know, more dramatic, you know, it's like, oh, Fisher Tiger, what's he going to think about Koala here? This whole thing. And he's seeing her. And this is crazy. Like, you see the blood a little bit. Like, oh, shit. So I don't think you get that in everything you get from... So, like, here's the... Yeah, so they do the thing. They meet Koala. She's a slave as well. Oh yeah, so there's the nosebleed part. So they do show that, they do establish that before. And then she's cleaning it up. And it's really sad. And it's really like, oh shit. A little more extra. And he's seeing it. And then this little chunk as well, where he throws his gun out. And he tells everyone to do it. And then this shot, it just goes from like here to here to here. But you don't see them drop their weapons like that. and then they kind of truncate that because I guess they can. They're cheering, and then they cut this whole. Let's see how long this is. 28 seconds, and this is like the culmination moment. This is like a really big moment, really get the person to cry kind of deal. They're all cheering for what he's saying here, and then you see her. She realizes she's crying. Cutting back to it with all, and he's seeing. I love this reaction of Arlong here. Because like he's clearly against it. Like he's so stuck in his ways. He hates humans the most, but he can't help but understand that like, he respects Fisher Tiger's ideas, and what the crew's going with. So he's not going to spoil. Like that's like kind of a rare moment of, it's a rare moment to see like respect. It's respectful. Because if he was like full on who we know Arlong to be and like straight up evil the whole time, he wouldn't be doing something like this. But he's removing himself, knowing he disagrees with them, so he's not going to ruin the moment. I honestly love this shot. I don't know if they'll include it. I think it would be great if they did. I think they can, given how they've been doing these, where they understand the best possible moments to really embellish and spend some time on. And this is one of those moments. It will probably be very, very quick, this shot, because really, One Piece in general, the anime, the shots all last at least a second. Like they all take their time. There's not a lot of quick cuts unless it's like a specific thing. But like, yeah, that's a second. That could probably be like half a second, and it will still register for the audience. And so I think there's a way that they'll include this, but I could be wrong. I would like it they did, though. I'm just making that point. Yeah, and then she's like, you really getting emotional about it. I don't know if the gun was necessary. It's like, yeah, we get it. That's fine. Yeah, and then, it's so good. So good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this episode. It's really great shit. Now, I just want to cover this real quick, and I'll probably do this in the next stream and forget that I did and whatever. I just want to go over this part. I won't go over the whole thing. This is insane. This is insane. Like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe you've done this. So, they're at this point where Fisher Tiger decides to, let me hold on. Let me not spoil it. What One Piece does. Oh my gosh. So there's an entire. Let's see how long the scene is. It's 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes 24 seconds. Where, and you can kind of already see what One Piece is doing, but there's a whole scene where like the whole villagers are coming out, and she's there. It's like, oh, it's your mom. It's like, holy shit. Oh. And he's like, here. And it's so emotional, and it's great. And he's happy about it. He's happy. He did a good thing, and he doesn't hate humans. And even like there's a tension there, and like, who's that? It's like fucking Fishman. He's like, and they're kind of looking at him. And he just walks away. He's like, you know what? No, I did a good thing. I'm not gonna let it fucking ruin me. And she talks about, it's like, no, they're great. They're great people. I'm so happy. And he walks away without saying anything. Just did a good thing, man. And then she's like, no, dude, thank you so much. Oh my God. And he's like, yeah. Fuck yeah, Fisher Tiger. And he waves. He's looking back. It's really nice. He waves back, and she's like, yeah. So he's walking away still. And then he gets this really great moment. He's like, all right, I did that. That's so great. And then it goes to, gets captured by Navy, ambushed. What One Piece does, they reduce it from 2.5 minutes to 47 seconds. They managed to truncate this scene like a motherfucker. And let me take a quick look at what the manga does here. because I just want to see. I just want to see for a sec. So let's see. It's yep. There's her. Okay, yeah. So they party in this page over here. They do a whole thing. Koala, get off the ship. This is your home. Where's the village? I'll walk you there. Don't go. Tell everyone in the village. Lots of good people. Bye, Koala. So here's the page, right? Let's welcome to them. Oh, there's the exchange. Here's the here's what we got. This panel, this panel, this panel, this panel, these panels, and there's no dialogue. Anime includes the dialogue, but I think it is really nice. It's a nice idea that Oda kept it without words. He's done that in the with other pages. It's really nice. And he waves, and then boom, and he's right there. Okay. But this is the opportunity for the anime to embellish on that. Take advantage of this, because Oda has a similar restriction. He needs to get from this point to this point in this chapter. And so as much as he would want to spend 2.5 minutes worth of shit on these things, he decided to just make it 1.5 pages. Like literally this bottom third and this whole page, and that's it. And then move into this. And the composition wise, it just works, right? It's them partying and then her saying farewell to them, and then him bringing her and their farewell, and then he gets ambushed by the Navy. The same, it just works as like a composition thing. One Piece sees this and is like, well, that's what we have to do. Surely we have to. I don't know what the audio is here, but these motherfuckers, this is what they do. I have to play this in fucking full. Let me take this is One Piece over here. Are you fucking kidding me? They made it a slideshow. They would rather not have any animation. I don't know what the fucking audio is here. But like that, this is how badly they want to be the fucking manga. They're just making it an effing slideshow. Are you kidding me? No, nothing. Like they don't even They don't even try to loop anything or nothing. It's just, this is so bad, dude. This is embarrassing. This is honestly like fucking embarrassing. I could not believe they did that, dude. I cannot believe it. So like obviously then like, you know, I've laid them the kind of best I could kind of deal, but it's so, I could not believe it, dude. Lovely smile cry, right? Oh my god. And then just that, oh god. Cut that part because it's not in the manga. It's not the panel. Like, oh, he smiles like that in so they're just trying to make it fucking panel for panel. Are you effing kidding me? Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I don't think that was a good idea. I think they were, especially the fact that they don't have any limitations on episode length. This episode of One Piece, Fishman Island, episode 11 for them. Let me see how long it is. Episode 11 is 35 minutes. They couldn't bother to add another minute or so when they're already like 12 minutes over a regular episode length. They couldn't just add a fucking 90, like an extra, what is it, 2.5 minus 47 seconds. It's like 2 minutes, like a minute 45. Just add a minute 45 to this. It would be 36 minutes. It would be like 37 and change. And they have episodes that are fucking 45 minutes. Like, they couldn't just do that. Instead, they have to make this fucking embarrassing slideshow. It's so cringe, dude. Like, give me a fucking break. And the thing is it was because they found ways to cut it, because there's no audio here. Like it's quiet. It's quiet right here. So they just see that, like, they can just put a fucking music track over, and they think they're so fucking clever. But no, it's embarrassing. It's so bad, dude. And again, like, there's no audio here. So, like, they really could just do that and just... I can't believe it. Weird Park's going crazy. It's... I can't believe it. It's... like, really embarrassing. In my opinion, like, is it really that important to you? Like, is it not enough that you cut out all the recap and the eye catches and, you know, only make it one OP instead of 2 OPs per episode? Because you're basically just stitching 2 episodes together and being like, here you go. That's really all they're doing. They're only cutting around the corners because they can't cut very much with the way the audio is, and they don't have the M&E track. So there's, like, piecemeal. And they say, like, oh, look how much we cut. Wow. Amazing. Phenomenal. Wow. Wow. Yeah, but that was a shock to find when I was laying these episodes out. I got up to 544. I have not done the rest yet. I'm going a bit at a time. What I want to do is, you know, label obviously what I've been doing with these episodes, and there's a couple that I haven't done this with yet. But I want to go through these and do what I've been doing here and doing, like, you know, halfway you can see the before and after, like the original and remaster. Highlight these clips in purple of which ones are redraws. So I wonder if this is a redraw. I don't think it is. Let's find out. I don't think it is. No. Or this one. Well, it's sort of like half. It's sort of a... Yeah, it's sort of out of sync, so... No, it's not. That sort of thing. Highlight those. In the bits of material they cut, like all of this with Sanji, this whole scene, I'll, like, kind of lay out put the panel on screen to kind of show, it'll probably be like in this little bit of what the corresponding thing is, basically. But yeah. So I'll do those. This is not even... Look, this is not a good shot of Chopper, by the way. It's just so ugly. I'm sorry. It's not very good. Look at that. Like, ugh. I mean, it's kind of over here, and that's fine. But, like, this... I can't stand that, personally. That's fine. So, yeah, I'll probably do those 2 things for everything. And that's just a lot of work. It's just a lot of, you know, manual... cutting and pasting and bullshit, all for what? This is what I like to do. I'd like to do it for fun. It's fun. It's really fun. God, it's great. Instead of my video, I guess. Instead of the video I'm trying to fucking work on, but I just had too many interruptions, which is my word for excuses. I make excuses. I don't think there was anything when I was syncing these that was particularly interesting. Like, there's certain ways that they kind of abbreviate a cut by, like, oh, they're, you know, they can take out 1 frame of, they could just make it faster, basically. You see how, like, that little cut over here? You can kind of abbreviate things. I think this is a completely new cut. I couldn't find it in this bit. I could be wrong, though. But again, like, I think it makes sense to cut this entire sequence, not just because it's anime original, but because it centers on, you know, Zoro facing a bunch of goons, and who cares about goons, dude? I like when he fights Hody, because Hody's important, right? Yeah. Oh, is it this one? Is this a shot? Yeah, there it is. I got it. All right. And then I make a cut here just to show, like, this is the length of the remaster shot versus the original shot. And that's just how much time they can shave. They can literally shave off half a second. And that builds up over time. If you do that for like every cut. Look at some of the ways that they abbreviate like this entire thing. Actually, this is supposed to be a cut right here. Yeah. They keep pretty much the entire shot of this. Done. 2 seconds off of that cut. 3 seconds off of this cut. Like it goes for this whole amount of time. And they time these things. You know, when they do the storyboard. But then there's also like the instrumentation as well. They kind of, you know, stick a landing on something. I knew this from watching it by myself, like from the beginning, that like a lot of scenes are stretched to accommodate a score specifically. Little bits like this, I'm pretty sure this is anime original, this little glue shot. And like it's not like wholly filler or something, but it's like, yeah, here's the shot of Neptune showing that Usopp will get that bubble, but then this whole sequence here, Usopp tries to pass it to Zoro, but as Neptune's doing his attack, Zoro misses it, so he doesn't get that. And I like knowing that because it gives it this tension, because he's like, uh-oh, Zoro doesn't have air, and you're thinking that in your mind because you care a lot about Zoro as Neptune does this attack. I remember watching this and I feel like I was holding my breath to kind of be like in Zoro's position almost, and I don't know if you do that with films. Maybe I'm just I don't know. But you see, they cut a lot of just, you know, general shots at establishing things. But honestly, a lot of like the cuts are really smart. Just like make sense to me. They're like, you know, it's good for like they really make this a big fucking deal in the episode. It's like the centerpiece of the episode. Well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, like it's the whole this is 7 minutes 30 seconds in, and then they give this whole anime original. You know, they end it gets to the halfway point over here. But yeah, it's sort of like little added stuff. Doom 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 doom. But I want to also, you know, I think I only kind of trusted what One Piece cut as like, oh yeah, this is like an added bit that's not really in the manga. I wasn't doing such a close comparison when I was laying these out. But now that like I see all these extra scenes here, you know, One Piece probably included it because they couldn't cut it out, because you see like there's constant music or something, you know, noise happening, so it would be an awkward cut if they did. Whereas they could probably do, I don't know, maybe there's a reason they were able to cut this whole part. They can't cut over here, but I don't think this is in the manga, because I don't remember this panel. I could be wrong though. But I do want to go back in and double check that for sure, and then highlight that scene in yellow like this, or green if it's like a cutaway. Green, basically the difference between yellow and green is like yellow is like it's anime original, but it's like, you know, incongruence with what's going on, and they're just embellishing it. Green is like this entire scene does not happen. It obviously contributes, and it's not like, you know, making shit up. It is, but but it's just like an extra thing that's not in the manga at all, but like it's a side scene basically. And then orange is recap. Anytime they're like, oh, Jinbei, do you remember Jinbei when he was with him in Impel Down and in Marineford and did all that shit? Like, yeah, we know. Yeah. So that's effectively the whole thing. I'm stalling. Let's see if they got the episode. Why, yes, they do. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, this is huge. Just like that. I know. Again, you know, guys, pull up the episode for 12 if you've got smokes. If you got them. Okay. Here we are. We now go back in time. Okay. Let me get a drink. As usual. Whew. Alrighty. We are ready to go. Wake me up. We'll see what they cut. Cute singing. Yeah. Alright. Let's go. We're going go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hopefully you cannot hear that. Doesn't seem it. Not if you can't, I'll put the ocean sounds up a little bit more. Yay! Mid! This particular version. I'm sorry, Luffy. You're a good singer when you actually sing. You're just yelling over it. This is so chill. Yeah. Can you shoot me? It's my new winner. I prefer the Straw Hat singing this. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. Oh, okay. They gave this little glue that One Piece was like, we can cut that. Stupid interface will not disappear, but okay. Slap. Are they gonna cut the teardrops? Yes, they will. They do cut his reaction though, being like, huh, they actually really keep the moment. Ah! It's the slap. Yes, good track. There's a lot of like little boxes they can, yeah, that they're decompressing here. This track makes me fucking cry, man. It means a lot, man. Oh yeah, yeah. They, I think, Pace abbreviated it the same way. Oh yeah, that's how they abridge it. Okay, cool. That worked great. There was like 3 establishing shots in the original. Not this track too. Ah. No wonder this is a goated flashback. They did cut that total scene out. But One Piece did include, but this is what the manga does. But I love his voice. here it is, yeah. They added that little extra context bit from the anime. They're only doing 2 episodes, so only doing 2 chapters, so they can do it. They're not even halfway through yet. This is all not really in the manga, I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. There it is, yeah. And then he makes the raid on Mary Jo, which is basically these panels. So that's effectively 621. And they're, yeah, nicely halfway through. This is the beginning of the very end of 620. This part here. Ooh. Very strategic. That was added. Alright, so we're here. Yes, we're here. This track too? Let's go! Yep. That was pretty well abbreviated. They cut this extra scene of Arlong threatening them. Oh, it's his former VA. I miss him. He voices Professor Oak in Pokemon, among other things. Very famous voice actor. Really loved him as Kizaru. I wish he was still with us. I think they probably abbreviated this scene a good deal. There seems to be more dialogue than there was there. Ooh, let's see how much they keep from this. Probably not much. They do keep it. Not all of it, but like, they kept it. There's some bit of it. That's great. Yeah, this is all anime original. I think they cut out some of these panels, enemy raid, etc. Oh, this track. This is such a good track too. They did cut they did exactly what One Piece did as well. Yeah, bitch! They kept the shot. We win. Oh, so good. And the instrumentation was so good, and they abbreviated it like a motherfucker. That was so good. Yeah, dude. Oh, fucking One Piece, bro. Yes. And like that is really all you need. I was kind of worried that like the limited amount of like the reduced amount of time of watching these new characters, Otohime and Fisher Tiger, getting attached to both of them. But those scenes, first of all, Otohime and like breaking her hand, trying to like repent and being kind of, weird about it, is endearing enough. But obviously her stuff comes later. And then Fisher Tiger, like, obviously how we've established who Jinbei and Arlong are, and they look up to him. And then his like, we're not going to kill anybody. I have some internal battles, and then this koala scene, it works so fucking well. So like, even when he dies at the end, at the halfway point of the next episode, you've only seen this guy for an episode and a half, and he's already like a go. Like you already get it. It's so efficient. It's so efficient. I mean, yeah, it's only 3 chapters that he's really in One Piece, but it's so efficient. And there's plenty of characters like that in One Piece that are like that are only in there for 2 or 3 chapters, but they fucking nail it. Ooh. Whoa! Well, I think that already happens. Okay, I thought that was like supposed to show like the 3rd chapter, but because that's what they do at the end of the flashback, at the end of her life. But that happens as well. Okay, so let's look at let's check this out. Let's try to. We should do this next time, but I want to do it now. Just quick. Yep. So they return and the end of this chapter is obviously like all that, and then Arlong gets captured by Borsellino. Let's see. Well, I wanted to look at. Yep. So there's the. Yeah. So they're at least doing 2 chapters. But let's see if they do a 3rd one. So at the end of this chapter, 624, is the Celestial Dragon thing. And she's like, I'm going there right now. And they do a little bit into 625, actually. Oh, yeah, they are gonna... Oh, my gosh. They do 2 chapters in an episode of the original episode of One Piece. That's incredible. I think I see what happens, because they only cut like they end it like right here. This page right here of the episode 543. And then 544 has this and all of the more than all of this, really. It's got that page, and then maybe they cut that. I'm surprised that they actually have all this. Let me see. Yep, so they did. Yeah, so they got to this point. So 543, Fisher Tiger's thing. And then 544 is Arlong. More signing. Gonna have all that. Jinbei's a great pirate. Yeah, so this part where they leave is where? So this is in there. I'm trying to find when Arlong breaks up with them. They might actually have never shown it in the manga. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, there's the impel down thing. Well, yeah, because there's a further flashback, I guess. If you want to stop me, kill me right now. So it's about here, I think. So then 1, 2, yeah. So then they basically, I think they take these two. Maybe this page as well. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, that strong bastard. Come on, Hachi. And that's when they all leave. Yeah. So this last page is from 625. So they effectively do 2 chapters minus a page. And then this page is going to happen 545. It actually includes some pages from the Impel Down shit, I guess. I haven't synced the One Piece episodes yet, so I don't know how much of this is anime original or not. But then, yeah, there's Mayo's Guard. And Vader Decken. I actually forgot that he was in this part. That's really cool. Yeah, but all that with with Shirahoshi's screaming happens somewhere here. Yeah, right here. Crazy. And it should end with over here, which is the end of that chapter. Yeah, so it does this chapter, and yeah, it does 1 chapter basically. Exactly. That's what I figured. Okay. So I think next episode is going to be, as I was predicting earlier, basically like 2 chapters, and then the episode after that will be another 2 chapters, and then the one after that is going to be the last chapter of the flashback, plus the first of the beam back, basically. This is what I'm thinking. But yep, 12. They did in fact do 540 and 541. Woohoo! Alright, well, I think that'll do it, fellas. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are great. You have a great weekend. I gotta go have a good night. Yep. Alrighty. Peace.